I just switched from a gas cooktop to an induction cooktop. Why would I do this? Our Ecobee thermostat kept air quality shaming us. Every time I turned on the gas, it would say, "Poor air quality, you're gonna die," or something like that. And we don't have a range hood installed in the ceiling. We just have a downdraft vent, and most people think they don't really do the job. Why am I holding this? And installing ventilation in the ceiling is just way too big a job. I'm not interested in that. And you know what? Health is very important to my family and I don't want to be breathing in gas fumes all the time. It's just not necessary. So that's what caused us to go induction. What is induction, you ask? Well, instead of heating your pans with fire like gas, or heating up a coil like electric, induction uses copper coils underneath the glass that create a magnetic field. That field makes the molecules in your cast iron vibrate. The vibration creates friction and that creates heat. So the pan essentially becomes your burner, not the stove. So you can literally turn it on, slap your hand on there, and it won't get hot, it won't burn. Now you may ask, what's installation like? Well, what you need for installation is a dedicated 50 amp, 240 volt circuit. So not only did I need to have extra room in my box for that, I also needed an electrician to come over and install the line. And I also hired a plumber to come in and cap off the gas line as well. And aside from that, it was just a matter of measuring to make sure the new cooktop fit where my old one was. This LG model fit perfectly. Now, one of the things I kept hearing about induction was, oh, you have to replace all of your pots and pans. Not true. It depends what you currently have. Pots and pans just have to be metal because of the magnets, and they have to have a flat surface so they're actually touching the surface of the induction cooktop. Now, I personally only have cast iron pans and stainless steel pots. So that's it, good to go. I didn't need to replace anything. They also recommend doing a magnet test to see if it sticks to the bottom of your pots and pans, which I didn't do because it's obviously metal. But since we're on camera and I have this cool looking magnet, hey, it's compatible. So one of the reasons I chose the LG model was because of the sizes of the burners. It has a very large burner right in the middle, which will fit my large cast iron pan and my large pot. And the big one is flexible too. It has an outer circle and an inner circle. So if you use a smaller pot on the inner circle, it'll only heat up that part. If you use a larger pot, it'll use the entire thing. But it also has two zones on the left side that can team up and become a big flexible zone. So you can use one of those long pots on there, or even a rectangular griddle. But watch out, because you have to make sure that your pots and pans are perfectly aligned in the circles. If it's off a little bit, it may not heat the entire pot or pan. This recently happened when I was cooking eggs. This pan is between the small and the large size, and it didn't seem like the edges were being heated at all. Only the center was cooking. So I'm gonna cook some eggs right now and see if I could duplicate the exact same thing for you. Okay, the pan is nice and hot now. I'm gonna pour the eggs on the pan. Everything seems to be cooking perfectly even. Wow, I don't know what went wrong the last time, but this test was perfect. The eggs were cooked perfectly from edge to edge. And sure, I burned the bottom a little bit in this example, but that's only because I left it on too long while I was watching the edges for the sake of the video. So that went even better than I expected it to. Now, anyone familiar with induction will tell you how incredibly fast it boils water. Oh my god, it boils water in just 1 minute. Okay, let's chill for a second. I'm pretty sure that depends on a number of factors, like how large of a pot you're using. And it depends on other factors, like how cold the water is and how much do you fill the pot. So I'm gonna use this pot and I'm gonna fill it 3/4 of the way with cold water and put the cover on. Go power, select the middle one, boost, and start the timer. There we go, it is completely boiling in under 3 minutes. Let's turn that off. And look how quickly it responds when I turn it off. That's pretty good, a rolling boil in under 3 minutes. I'm satisfied. Of course, I don't have the gas range to compare, but I'm pretty sure that's faster. And as you notice, the controls are so much more responsive too. And these things are much more energy efficient. Something like 85 to 90% of the energy goes right into the pan. With gas, I think it's about 40%, and the rest of it's going right into your lungs and killing you. Like I said earlier, I wanted a nice big burner in the center to accommodate my nice big cast iron pan. I love this thing. And that's because you don't want a pan that's larger than the cooking zone you're placing it on. Because if the cooking zone only comes to here, it's not really gonna heat the edges. And I'm gonna demonstrate that right now by putting this large cast iron pan on a small cooking zone and then cooking a big pancake. For this test, I'm gonna use one of the smaller induction burners and I'm gonna put a large cast iron pan on it. All right, I think that's in the center. And let's pour some pancake batter on there. Now we'll just wait and see. See, it's almost cooked all the way through in the middle. And the edges are still liquid. You could even like cut a piece out here. There we go. But the edges are still liquid. As you can see, the center cooked almost all the way through and the edges are still liquidy. But you know what? These things are minor. Just cook with the right pans and you're all good. Okay, since I have some leftover batter, let's make some more pancakes just so we can see how evenly it cooks. I don't eat pancakes without chocolate chips in them. As you can see, they aren't perfectly even. They look pretty uniform, although the edges are a little lighter than the rest. It could have been because of my previous test and the center was hotter, although I thought I let it cool with enough time. So maybe, maybe not. For me, it's negligible. Apparently there's also complaints about people hearing a buzzing or humming noise. I don't hear anything. Not me. Let's also briefly talk about the controls. I know people talk about missing the gas and the dials, but not for me. I'd rather just press a button. Why? Because of consistency. If I'm cooking pancakes at a 4 and they come out great, then that's it. I'm gonna use a 4 every time. I don't wanna sit there trying to gauge how high the flame is while all the gas is pouring down my lungs, right? It's like eggs, pancakes, 4 or 5, boiling water, 9, or even boost. Getting to know the numbers is much easier for me. Another thing is safety. I have 2 little kids. If someone turns a burner on and then you stick your hand on there, you're fine because your hand's not metal. And like I said, when you're putting a pan on there, the pan essentially becomes the burner. That's what's getting hot. After you're cooking, you take the pan off. The surface is hot, but that's because the hot pan was sitting on top of it. And it cools to a safer temperature much quicker. The controls seem much more responsive on this as well. It seems to heat up quicker and cool quicker. I personally feel like you have more control. Now this model does have Wi-Fi, so I hooked it up to the LG ThinQ app, but that's it. I connected it. I never use it. And really, just like any smart appliance, I connect them all to Wi-Fi and they're all pretty much useless. And yeah, people say there's a learning curve. You're gonna have to get used to cooking on induction. But I really like it so much, there's not a lot to get used to. And yes, not all cooking methods are gonna work well on this. If you need to like lift the pan up off the heating element while it's cooking, I mean, if you take the pan off, it's not gonna be heated while it's off of it. But again, cast iron retains heat pretty well. And you know what? One of the best things about an induction cooktop is how easy it is to clean. It's just one flat slab of glass. It's so easy. And seriously, you ever try to clean a gas cooktop? Honestly, we barely did it because it's such a pain in the butt. This thing is so easy. Sometimes there's smudges I can't get off, but it came with this stuff, which I'm gonna try right now. Wow, that looks amazing. The smudges came right off. And I guess I've heard other concerns like, oh, they're useless during a power outage. Okay, fine. If you have an old gas range, you could turn it on maybe with a lighter or something and use it during a power outage. Or you could light a cigarette off it. And it's not gonna heat up your kitchen like gas would while you're cooking on it either. I think that's a positive, right? Unless you're heating your house with your gas cooktop. So that's it. I switched from gas to induction, and I personally love it. And yes, the biggest win for me is not having my family and small children breathing in horrible gas fumes. But honestly, I prefer cooking on it, and cleaning it is the best thing ever. The only other thing is being really careful with it when you're using heavy cast iron pans. If you drop it, you can crack the glass. And if you're too rough with it, you can scratch it. But it is pretty tough, and I haven't had any issues so far. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see others like it, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And thanks so much for watching.